Hey, everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Integrative Marketing Webinar. It's good to be with you today. We're excited. Ryan Harris here, the president and founder of Strategic Social Partners. And I've got my go-to, my right-hand man, my master of all things Facebook ads, Mitch Adams with us. Mitch, you want to say hi?
Hello, everybody. Glad you can be on with us.
Yeah, it's good to be with you. So last week, in our last week's episode number 1, we talked a little bit about the purpose of social media advertising and why people should engage in the process of running or just beginning their whole journey in the world of advertising, or even just getting on Facebook for that matter. And today's episode, we are going to talk more about what in the world does it mean to actually put together a Facebook page, and what settings should we identify. And we're going to try to do this in 30 minutes. So I hope you're ready for the journey because it's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. And it's going to be a blast. So let's begin the process, Mitch.
Okay, not to scare anybody, but it seems like they add more settings that you have to pick every single time I go back to create a new page.
Yes.
But okay, so setting up a business page in Facebook, is it useful? So I guess to start out, we might need to clarify the difference between a business page and a personal profile, right? So a personal profile, that's the way you get onto Facebook. You have to have a personal profile. There's really no other way onto Facebook. And that's just yourself. You know, I have a Facebook profile, Mitch Adams, post stuff about my family, my hobbies on there. And then I get to add my friends, the people that I'm connected with. I get to be friends with them. And it's the most meaningful friends, right? When you have friends on Facebook.
That's right.
But then a business page, and there's a lot of benefits for a personal profile, but there's certain limitations. A business page, that is for specifically, just like it sounds like, a business. That's if you are a brand or a business. And the question, is it useful? I still see businesses today that set up a quote-unquote business page, but it's actually a personal profile just in the name of their business. So if their business is, well, I know we have Tisha on from Lawn Tech. If they set up, they didn't do this, by the way, a Lawn Tech page, but they could add friends.
Yeah.
I still see businesses doing this. It's the most useful thing about a business page is that you can run ads and get in front of, just doing a case study yesterday with one of our clients. We had 1.1 million impressions in a month and a half. Because it was a business page, we would never be able to do that on a personal profile.
Yeah.
So yes, it's useful.
Mitch, I think that's a really good thing to bring out, because we get the question all the time, well, should I just keep my business page, or should I go a business or a personal page, and then, like you said, make it a business page, if you will, in a personal account? And the reality is, if you don't make it a business page, then there's a lot of the things that we're going to talk about over the course of this webinar are things you won't be able to accomplish. Like literally, you just won't be able to do, because you can't run ads, like Mitch was saying, at a business, at a personal page. So, and keeping in mind, obviously, that you do get better organic reach on your personal pages. So one of the reasons why we choose to do a lot of our stuff on personal pages in some cases is simply the fact that we get a lot better organic reach on our personal pages, but business pages are really good to get paid reach and really leverage that paid reach to create more success for your business. So keep that in mind.
If you do it right, you can make the two work together. I mean, Ryan, all the time, he's a great example of, he'll do a Facebook Live on either our business page or his personal profile. But in either case, whichever one he does it on first, he shares it to the other one. So they're working together to really build the business.
That's right. Cool. Well, let's dive in. You know, the funniest thing about generating traffic in general is it's changed significantly, right? The way that we used to do business in general was all door to door. It was commerce to commerce, individual to individual. As a matter of fact, 15 years ago, I started in the door-to-door world. Marketing in those days was literally people would open their doors to strangers and have conversations about a product and a service. Well, if you think of the transition of where security has gone, home security systems with doorbell cameras, most people are installing doorbell cameras so they can have a form of face-to-face with people without opening the door and exposing themselves to potentially some sort of harm. So kind of an interesting concept there. And door-to-door obviously has always been effective. I'm assuming it will still continue to be effective to some extent, but it may not be perfect in nature. The other common way of generating traffic was cold calls, buying lists of people and getting on the phone and calling people. A few of the businesses that I engaged with early in my career, we did a lot of cold calling. There's a lot of businesses today that do a lot of cold calling. But that's another way of generating traffic, which can be extremely beneficial. And the third way, which I call social leveraging, is obviously Facebook, whether that's organic traffic, whether that's paid traffic, whatever type of traffic you're trying to create in that environment really builds value when it comes to telling a story, sharing an example. It was funny, Mitch, I met with a guy yesterday that basically said this whole content creation, information creation, information sharing, education sharing is just bogus. And I just that bad. Keeping in mind, obviously, that they're a cold calling company. So he hasn't quite figured out how to leverage content to build out his brand. And as a result, they're having a hard time growing one of their businesses. He has a couple of businesses, a couple are doing very successful, but this type of a business specifically is struggling because they haven't built that brand equity, which is one of the key things that you need to understand when it comes to starting and building a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's interesting.
Super interesting.
So why do you need a Facebook page? The world has seen a dramatic shift to mobile. That's a place where you can reach people on mobile. Back to that cold calling, well, door-to-door, that first traffic method, you can't do door-to-door on mobile. And if it is on mobile, it's that doorbell camera example where they can see you on their mobile and they can stop talking to you on their mobile very quickly.
Right.
And then cold calling, I've been getting a lot of cold calls lately. And, if it's not in my phone address, then I often don't answer. If it's not in there, if it's not somebody I know. And especially if it's not in my area code, which cold callers usually are not in my area code. Facebook has credibility, and Facebook business pages have credibility. Users know the difference. They can tell when it's a legitimate business page and when it's not.
Yep.
So building the right type of page is important. Over 60 million active business pages. Success leaves clues. We often talk about that. 60 million people are doing it, so it's probably a good idea. And more than 1 billion people visit Facebook pages. We talked about this yesterday. And you can take a piece of the pie of those 1 billion people, the people in your local market, or the people if you have a national market, or if you have a multinational market. And then ultimately simplify your lead generation is another reason with advertising.
Yeah, Mitch, and what's interesting, and one of the questions that I receive on a day-to-day basis is my target demographic really on social media? Well, I would venture to guess that if there's more than 1 billion people that visit Facebook pages and over 600 million active users, there's probably a percentage of your market, I would say a higher percentage of your market, that are actively leveraging business pages or actively looking at business pages, especially when it comes to advertising dollars. And again, the whole infrastructure behind, in my opinion, because of the changing algorithms of Facebook in general, there's a whole different world, a whole different paradigm of how we can leverage social media and Facebook pages in general to get in front of people, recognizing obviously that there is consistency that has to be involved when you have a business page that you're using. And that consistency drives more success than a quick little, shot in the arm hoping something will come of it. And just to give you an idea, we have one of our clients we've worked with over the last few years, a little over a year, I guess. And they, Mitch, I think we may have shared this story last week, but we continued to push consistent content for over a year. And now they're really starting to reap the benefits of all of the time and effort that was spent. Even though at first it may not have felt like it was a good investment. Now, 1 month specifically with their business, they had over 180% growth in their business in 1 month, right, over previous year's return. Or previous year's revenue. So yes, do you need a Facebook page? A lot of people ask me that question. Absolutely. And the second is obviously why we need it is because of the attention. I mean, our biggest focus as an agency is how can we continue to find the attention of the average consumers and leverage information in order to share things with them that will attract their attention, retain their attention, build a relationship of trust with them, and then ultimately lead that into revenue for you and for your company.
Yeah, the attention is there. And back to the target demographic, I had that same conversation yesterday with somebody. They said, how old of a person should we target on Facebook? And should we do that 65 plus? Should we go beyond 65? Are they on there? And we've done ads. We've done marketing specifically for people that were over 65 on Facebook, and it worked. There are people on there because they want to see their grandkids.
That's right.
And Ryan, you were saying that people are, the younger generation, younger than me, are coming back to Facebook now.
They are. Yep. They're getting tired of the noise of, as a matter of fact, I talked to a couple college students and they were saying they're leveraging Facebook more than they are Instagram or Snapchat in a lot of ways, just because of the user frequency and trying to stay away from all the chaos associated with it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Are we ready to dive in and create a page?
Let's do it. Let's show our audience exactly how to create a page. If you haven't done this already, now keep in mind as we build this out, guys, that there'll be two elements that you want to gain and capture. First, maybe some of the settings inside of your own business page are not quite up to speed. But more importantly, this whole element of building a page sometimes can be quite scary for a lot of people. So let's do it.
Okay. So if you're in Business Manager, then you're going to hit the add button. If you're just on, which you can set up super easy by going to business.facebook.com. If you are on just your regular personal profile, you can do it too. There's a little down arrow up in the top right next to your notifications and stuff. If you go there and hit create page, then it'll take you to the same place where we're going to start here. So we are going to create a new page. So now you get all of these different categories. And the best practice is to pick the category that you are. You don't want to try to lie to Facebook. But what are some of the differences here, Ryan?
Yeah, great question. So local businesses in general, this is more of your mom and pop shops. These are the things, and maybe you're just beginning, or you have a physical location where you want to drive people to. This is where you establish that. Now, I think it's extremely important to understand the type of qualification or quantification of the category you select, because if you select the wrong type of category, you may not be able to run certain types of ads based on the type of category you selected for your page. So if you're a local business and you're pushing a brand or a product and you have a physical location specifically, but you select brand or product, then when it comes to running some offline events, meaning some conversion-based ads that can identify an offline event, then you may not be able to get the right reporting metrics in place in order to identify that. So that would be more like a local business or a place. Companies, organizations, institutions would probably be more of your mid to large business. Brand and product, if you're trying to establish a brand around a product or a service, that would be where you'd kind of select that. If you're an artist, a band, or a public figure, you'd want to select that. Entertainment in general, like corn mazes or video studios, movie theaters, or different type of amusement type entertainment stuff that would be there. And then causes or communities, nonprofit organizations, community organizations would be all developed through that bottom cause or community.
And I think, if you're wondering which one should I pick, really the easiest guideline is pick the one that you are. And if you think, which advertising metrics am I going to need? If you pick the one that you are, Facebook has gotten really good at giving you the right ones if you select the right type of page.
Yep, correct.
So today we're going to do brand or product probably.
Yep.
And then so you just pick a page name. So we're doing Get Healthy and Fit 2018, right?
Yep.
So two different strategies in naming your page. If you have like that local business, just name it your business. We have our business page. It's called Strategic Social Partners because that's the name of our business.
Mm-hmm.
There's another approach that's more of that goes along with the brand type page, and it's more of a passion-based page. People are going to read this title and they're going to know exactly what this page is about. And they're also, if they relate to it, then they're probably going to want to like the page. I have another page. I ride dirt bikes. I'm running this page kind of as an experiment, which is good for all of you so that I can learn stuff. It's called I Love Dirt Bikes. And I've grown that page by doing almost nothing. I've grown that page to over 150 people because it's I Love Dirt Bikes. And then choose your category. Again, just choose what's best, fits best. And sometimes multiple things fit best. So should we do health?
Yep, health and beauty. That's great.
Then hit create page. This beginning part really is, they walk you through the steps pretty well. Typically when I usually do this, then it automatically opens it up and keeps walking you through the steps. But that time I just had to click on it to get it to open up.
Now, keep in mind, for those of you that are just getting started and you don't have any sort of a business page associated with it, or have never been in the business.facebook.com portal, we'll talk more about that in other episodes. But today, just recognize that you can do this exact same thing from your personal account on Facebook. So if you go to facebook.com, log in, like Mitch said, in the top right corner, there's a drop-down menu. You can create your page from there. And then you'll get to the place where this all looks the same right now.
Yeah. Once you get to the actual page, there is no difference.
Right.
So add a profile picture and a cover photo. I just created some real quick. You want them to be relevant, and don't make them the same. I often see things that the profile picture and the cover photo are exactly the same, and what that limits you on is just telling your story. Your profile photo and your cover photo can start to tell your story. That's one of the first things that people see.
And interestingly enough, Mitch, just recently in the last 6 months or so, they've started allowing video on the top of your page.
Yes, they have.
Yep.
And that just kind of plays on repeat and makes it a little more entertaining.
Yep.
And the cover photo, the size, they change it often. But the current size is 851 by 315. So to make that, you can do a lot of different things. I made this in Canva real quick right before this so that I wouldn't have to spend time making the picture. You just go in, you use custom dimensions and type in those dimensions, 851 by 315. And then you can make a little collage or whatever. That tells a little bit of a story. And use high quality pictures or high quality video, because that is part of your branding.
Yes.
So settings, like we said, there's a lot of these. So shortcuts, that's over when you're on your Facebook page over on the left and you have a bunch of shortcuts. That just makes it faster to get to your page. It doesn't change anything for the people. Page visibility, page published, that's what you want. Unless you want to unpublish your page for some reason, you can unpublish it there. Visitor post, anyone can publish to the page. This one, depending on your business, you can kind of decide. You may want to review posts by other people before they are published to the page. Sometimes if people get mad at you, then they might publish something kind of crazy. So reviewing might be a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, I think, Mitch, we always recommend that that's in place, right? Because we know that there are a few of the crazies out there that want to try to damage your brand. Maybe they don't have the best experience and they feel like they can just sabotage you directly on your page. This gives you a little bit of flexibility in posting those things if you want to, or approving those things if you want to, but the ability to review it prior to approval.
Yeah. Newsfeed audience and visibility for posts. You can narrow the audience that your newsfeed is going to be shown to. So if you're really heavy, you only want to show your posts to women, you can do that here. Typically, you can leave it open because then with targeting on ads, then you can kind of direct it. Messages, people can contact my page privately. You do want to have the ability for people to contact your page because people more and more are very uncomfortable with picking up the phone and like that phone book thing that we used to use.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody uses that anymore. We don't call. It's very uncomfortable. So it's much more comfortable for people to message you because they can hide behind their computer and say what they want to say. And only people who have tagging ability. So this is if you want to let people tag themselves on your posts, or if you don't. Do you have a strong opinion one way or the other on that, Ryan?
You know, yes and no. I mean, giving people the ability to tag your page builds social exposure, right? It builds some organic play. So depending on the type of content you have on your page and what you want to allow people to do, I always suggest that you allow others to tag photos and videos, because then you get some more exposure. So like, for instance, if I share a really good article on my Facebook business page, and someone wants to share that to their business page, they can share that and also tag me back in that, so it directs people back to where the actual content came from.
And they can also come and tag their friends. Like let's say you take a picture with a big group of people, like a success story, then these people can come in and tag themselves, and then all of their friends see your business page.
That's right.
That's tagging the whole page. That's tagging in your photos. Page location for frames. So that's using your location for frames. More relevant if you have a location. Country restrictions, if you want to be only US or only your own country, then you can do that. Age restrictions, if I guess we'll use alcohol as an example, you may as well only show it to people that are 21 plus. Mm-hmm. Page moderation. If there's something in your specific industry that people say these certain words that you don't want them to say on your page, you can block those words. Mm-hmm. Profanity filter, if you want to keep it a little more clean. You can have off, medium, or strong. That's personal preference.
Yep.
Similar page suggestions. Choose whether your page is recommended to others. You're going to want this on because, so especially in this example of Get Healthy and Fit, if somebody is on another page about health and wellness 2018, this page is going to get recommended to those types of people. And so they'd be like, oh, sweet, I can join another page that's about the same thing. Page updates. This is like if you change your cover photo or if you change your profile photo, or they publish to the page. I like turning this off just because if you change some small things and then it makes a whole post about it, and it gets in the way of the story that you're trying to tell with your actual posts.
Yep.
And you still have the option to post your new cover photo, for instance. They're going to see it anyway, though. Post in multiple languages. You can turn that on or off. Translate. You can turn that on or off. Let's see. You can download your page. I've never downloaded a page. I don't know what that does. Or you can merge pages. So maybe this has happened multiple times that I've come across people where they created a business page and then they forgot that they had, so they create another business page, but then they find both. So they merge the pages so that it becomes one. And then you can completely delete your page. Let's see, we gotta rush, right?
Yeah, we got about 6 minutes. We're okay.
Messaging. So in here you can set up a few settings regarding messaging. Again, you want people to be allowed to message your page, but sometimes you're not there to answer. And so you can prompt visitors to send messages. If your business is really heavy and you want people to send you messages, this just makes it more visible for your visitors to see the option. It's always an option, but this makes it more visible. Mm-hmm. This is how people start a conversation with your page. And then you have this response assistant. Send instant replies to anybody who messages your page. This is a good idea because then they get that immediate gratification that, hey, these people are listening to me, but you don't have to be manning your page 24/7. And then you can customize this message. And so this is a fun little example that they share. The person messages, hello, I have a question. And then it says, thanks for messaging us. So you can say, thanks for messaging us. We will get back with you within 1 to 2 business days. So you can change that however you want. And then say, is there a specific question you have? Because then that starts the question. And then when you come to it, you're not wasting time, like getting past them just asking their question.
Yep.
I was on with support one time and they wasted like 20 minutes asking me stupid questions that weren't relevant.
We've all been there, right?
Yeah. So this just gets things right to the point. Then you can come, they've asked their question, you can answer their question, done. It's faster for you, it's more efficient for them, and everybody's happy. Stay responsive. This is new. I'm confused. What's the difference?
So the stay responsive, Mitch, this is kind of the timeline, right? So this is saying, I will get back to you within a certain time period. They are very similar in nature, but it just basically says, this is more of like identifying and keeping up the responsiveness.
Yeah.
So they're kind of one and the same. I would suggest that you stick with 1, 2, or 3, right? Not 1 and 2 and 3, but kind of one of these 3 options is what you can leverage there.
Yeah. And what these help with as well is pages now, Facebook publishes like, how responsive is this company to messages?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good to have these instant replies so that you get a responsive nature so that they feel comfortable messaging you.
Yep.
So that's messaging settings. Edit page. This one, it's changing pages. This is the tabs. So all Facebook pages have these different tabs: about, photos, videos, reviews, services, different types of things. And so you can set these up based on what you want. So I'm going to turn off default tabs, and I'm going to decide which ones I want to have and which ones I want to leave. This one, they're not going to be able to shop on our page. So we're going to turn that off so that it's just not a tab confusing them.
Yep.
Offers, we're not going to have offers on this page. Groups, we do have groups associated with this page, so we're going to leave that. So that's this community. Well, you can't turn it off. It's just your page. Videos, events. Yeah, we're going to be having events, right?
Yep.
And about. And then I also want to change the order. I want to have about up high. I want to have videos up high. And I want to have photos up high. That's all of that I just did. It's all personal preference and it's relevant to your business.
That's right.
And then you can add a tab here. There's a lot of, this is another place. They are adding options all the time. Oh, live videos. That's a good one.
Yep.
They're adding tabs here all the time. And this is something that's going to be different based on the type of page that you selected at the beginning. Okay, post attribution notifications. Notifications, you can decide, do I want email notifications every time something happens? Do I want push notifications? Stuff like that. Page roles. This is where you can add people. So let's say you have a business partner or you have a Facebook ad or a Facebook poster for you in your business. You have an intern that's posting content. Here you can add them. So assign a new page role. There's different levels. Don't make an admin unless you really trust that person that they won't kick you off of your own page.
Yeah, that's very important to note. Because if you make someone an admin, they have all the access to your page just like you do.
Yeah. And so employee, employer, if you're the employer, don't make your employees an admin. I've ran into an instance where the employee was an admin, they got mad, and now they don't have control of that page as the business owner. People in other pages, that's just who likes your page. Preferred page audience, this is again, if you have a preference, men or women, 18 to 35 or 35 to 65 or 65 plus, you can put that in here. You really only want to do that if it's a really strong nature of your business. If it's kind of like you can still kind of take everybody, but you can then target with ads.
Yep.
Let's see, you compare your Instagram here. And those are the big ones there.
Yeah, and I think we all just need to understand that there's so much inside of a business page. This is the basic setup to give you some infrastructure. And in next week's episode, we'll talk a little bit more about this. We've run out of time, but we'll talk a little bit more about this. Plus, we'll start adding in some other layers of your Facebook business page, like understanding what the inbox is or what the notifications are, how you can invite friends to become part of your page, what the publishing tools look like, what the insights look like, settings. So make sure you come back next week and get a better understanding in our third episode of all of the things that you should pay attention to on your business page, because it will definitely help you learn how to more effectively leverage and generate more revenue for you and for your business. So thanks, my friends, for spending time with us. Episode number 2. We will be back next week again on episode number 3. Bye for now.